Hello, everyone. Welcome to Roundtable. I am Vinny Close, Assistant Council Commissioner for Roundtable Program and Support for Great Trail Council, and we are happy that you've joined us here tonight. We have a lot of information to share with you over the next hour, so let's start like we always do with the Pledge of Allegiance, Scout Oath, and Scout Law, presented tonight by Cub Scouts from Pack 3520 in Hinckley.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty, to guide my country, to obey the Scout Law, to help with other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and irreverent.
All right, thanks guys, great job for that. Now we want to welcome those of you that have joined us online. We're happy that you've joined us. Now to help us track attendance, share your unit number and city in the live chat. And if you have any questions during the broadcast, let us know and we'll get them answered either in the chat or live on air. Our Council Commissioner is standing by ready to help. We also want to have scouts from your unit help lead us in the Pledge, Oath, and Law. If you're interested, let us know in the chat and we'll contact you after the broadcast to make arrangements. Now, before we get into our roundtable program, we want to take a minute and send out a special congratulations to our own Reverend David Wyrick, Vice President for Relationships for Great Trail Council, who will be one of the recipients of the 2026 Silver Buffalo Award. The Silver Buffalo Award is Scouting America's highest national honor for distinguished service to youth on a national level. Reverend Wyrick is only the 5th recipient of this award from Great Trail Council in our council's 105-year history. He will formally receive the award at the National Annual Meeting on May 14th in Dallas. David, congratulations again. You've been a guest here on our broadcast. We love your insight. We love everything that you do about our program and for our council. There couldn't have been a better person that they could have selected for this than you. All right. If you have any questions about something that you've seen during Roundtable, whether it's this episode or a previous one, or you just have a scouting question and don't know who to ask, let us know. We have a very simple form that we've created. It goes directly to me to get your question or problem answered. You can see the address right there below to get to that form, and we may even use your question in a future episode. You can see the address there, gtcscouting.org/help. First up tonight is our safety moment. And for this month, we're going to talk about that delicate balance of your scouting life with the rest of the things that you do. That 1 hour a week can seem to get stretched pretty thin at times. And we'll discuss how to avoid burnout. I'm as guilty as anybody. This is day 3 of 6 in a row for me doing stuff for scouting. Let us know in the comments how you manage. Ask any experienced leader what the number one thing a new leader should remember, and most will say balancing your scouting life. As leaders, we have to work to model this process for our youth so that they understand the importance of personal care. Work-life balance is not the only thing we need to work on. Balance in scouting is equally important on a multitude of levels. The Scout Oath and Law demonstrate balance by highlighting our duty to God, duty to country, and being physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. So, how do we as leaders recognize when we are overwhelmed in scouting? Some symptoms of burnout: headaches, fatigue, feeling of helplessness, reduced performance in everyday tasks, an impaired concentration, depression, feeling of isolation, or irritability. If you do find that your balance is off, take the time to determine where the imbalance is and what you need to do to bring your life back in balance. Ask yourself permission to say no to new events and find new volunteers to help lessen the load that you are carrying. As leaders, we should also recognize burnout in others and be willing to offer support to other volunteers. One thing we can do to combat the effects of burnout is to establish personal boundaries. Take time off. Communicate clearly. Limit your availability, including digital. Know your limits. Focus on what is meaningful. And probably the toughest one for a lot of us is just say no. For us to provide the best program, we need all leaders to have a work-life scouting balance. We have the opportunity to have real conversations with each other to ensure that we are all at our best for both the program and for our scouts. All right, up next is our membership moment, and we're going to talk about having recruiting booths at community events. What better way to get involved in the community than to have a presence at community events? I can't tell you how many leaders we've talked to over the years that will be at a community event, whether it is a parade or a fair, and they will meet people from the community that will tell them, I didn't realize that we had a pack in this community. And they find out later that, yeah, there's been one for over 50 years, but they never knew. All right, looking to ramp up excitement and grow the membership in your unit? Recruiting should be dynamic, year-round, and exciting. You've heard us say that a lot during our membership moments. Membership booths at community events are a great way to invite families to join the fun. Hosting fun events at the unit level is what welcomes families into scouting. Here are some exciting activity ideas that'll have kids lining up to join the adventure. Blast off with space exploration, stargazing, rocket building, and astronaut training. Get wild with an outdoor Olympics, scavenger hunts, outdoor cooking, obstacle courses, and storytelling bonfires under the stars. Ignite curiosity with science spectaculars, DIY experiments, robotics challenges, and science demonstrations that make learning a blast. Fuel inspiration with art adventures, outdoor painting sessions, sculpture workshops, and community mural projects. And don't forget, the possibilities are endless. Brainstorm even more innovative ideas to make scouting the ultimate adventure for our youth, like participating in council-sponsored activities. This is not just for packs. Troops, crews, and ships can set up fun and inviting activities too. Let's make scouting the coolest place to be, where every activity sparks joy, curiosity, and lifelong memories. Get ready to inspire the next generation of leaders through unforgettable adventures. It's time now for our first of two hot topics for tonight, and we have some training for you regarding preparing for your pack's annual planning meeting. Before you know it, the program year will be coming to a close, and now is the time to begin planning for the new program year that starts on June 1st. This training from the National Council will provide you with great tips and tricks and proven techniques for putting on a great program planning meeting for the coming year. Here to present this month's video, it's our old friend, Anthony Berger, National Director of Cub Scouting.
Sometimes I ponder the great mysteries of life, such as, why are there interstate highways in Hawaii? If you're in a vehicle going the speed of light, what happens when you turn on the headlights? How do you know when it's time to tune your bagpipes? You may think such deep thoughts at times, and one of those thoughts may be, what makes a great Cub Scout pack? We will explore the answer to this question for the ages during this roundtable. Welcome to Roundtable, and I'm glad that you're here as we explore the mysteries of Cub Scouting and what makes a great Cub Scout pack. We will explore this together, and at the end, you should find the answer to this burning question. We're going to approach this with a metaphor of being sick. When you're sick, you know that you're sick because you're showing symptoms, a fever or a runny nose, and you may take something to treat those symptoms, to break the fever or stop the runny nose. However, if you continue to have a fever, you want to find the cause of that fever. You want to find that disease. So in addition to treating the symptom, you want to treat the disease to keep those symptoms from returning. So in Cub Scouting, what's the most common disease, not symptoms, but disease that we find with Cub Scout packs that are struggling? We know that not conducting an annual program planning conference is that disease. Okay, don't let the word conference intimidate you. How about an annual program planning party? The name is not as important as the purpose and the results. Just like eating right, staying hydrated, and exercising can prevent health issues, conducting an annual program planning is the best thing you can do to get your pack healthy and keep it healthy. Our prescription for every pack is to conduct an annual program planning conference. Now, during this roundtable, we're not going to go through the details of how to conduct one. Instead, we will share some proven techniques. To learn how to conduct an annual program planning conference, simply go to my.scouting and the BSA Learn Center, complete the Cub Scout training module, Annual Program Planning for Cub Scouting. Now, that's found in the Pack Committee Chair training track of Earning Your Training Strip. This 18-minute module will walk you through the details of how to conduct this conference with your pack. In the training module, there is information about the secret sauce of scouting. Now, this is a research-driven project that discovered the 3 key ingredients to the secret sauce that's found in scouting programs that have high retention and participation among their families. Now, the first step is that the pack committee chair and the Cub Master should meet to discuss the annual program planning and make some decisions. In addition to setting the date and time and location of the event, there needs to be a decision on what kind of planning event do you want. Do you want this to be a conference with adults only? Do you want it to be an event for adults and Cub Scouts? Or an event where all family members are invited? For example, as Cub Master, I met with our pack committee chair and we decided to make our conference family friendly. We made ours a summer picnic with hamburgers and hot dogs, fun activities for the kids, and we conducted it on our committee chair's property. Now, all families were invited and expected to attend. We kept it fun and casual atmosphere. Now, this helped us build a community. I want to point out that the element that made our planning conference a success was that it was something that we knew our families would enjoy, and it was something that they could look forward to. From past events, we learned that our families liked special events on a Saturday, and that when we provided food, people showed up. If you choose to have an adult-only conference, will that exclude some members of your pack who are single parents? Is there something you can do to arrange to ensure that they too can participate? Making those type of arrangements creates a very welcoming atmosphere. Now, here's a tip from the experts. At your planning conference, have an open dialogue about defining success for your pack. Now, think of it this way. Next year, at the next planning conference, how will you know that you were successful? When you see smiling faces and hear laughter and see Cub Scouts having fun, that certainly is a great way to measure success. So here's the tip from the experts on that. Keep in mind that it isn't the plan that's going to make you successful, but the commitment to the plan. And the way to get a commitment to a plan is that you need to get ownership by those who are going to be part of making the plan happen. Annual program planning provides not only an opportunity to set dates for meetings and activities, more importantly, it provides an opportunity for your pack to define its own success and to create a sense of community. Another item to address is the pack calendar. This certainly is the objective of the conference, to have a calendar of meeting dates and of events and times and locations for the coming program year. But in this training module, it states the Cub Master Committee Chair should have a draft calendar to present. This is actually a lot easier than it sounds. Instead of starting with a blank calendar, just simply take the dates of all the pack meetings and events from last year's calendar, pencil them into next year's calendar. At the conference, you can go month by month and ask, what needs to be changed? This will help keep the meeting moving, and several months will not require much discussion or any changes at all. If your pack does not have a history of doing an annual program planning, you will need to manage your expectations of participation. You're not going to capture everyone the first time you conduct one, but you will capture some. Like any other well-run event, there shouldn't be any surprises as to who will be there. That means simply personally contact with everyone you are expecting to attend and confirm their attendance if they can or cannot come. So a tip from the experts is use the calendar and the discussions from the annual program planning as a regular part of your monthly committee meetings or monthly parent meetings. A review of the next 3 months, confirming details for the next month, and making assignments for tasks creates a healthy and functional pack. You also want to manage your expectations of the results. Instead of setting the expectation that things will always be perfect or that you're striving towards perfection, have an expectation of continuous improvement. You will make mistakes, and that is okay. Learn from them, make adjustments, and move forward. So, what makes a pack great? Conducting an annual program planning is a major factor in making your pack great. It will help you build a community for your families. And when a community works together, it can overcome any challenge. Now, it's time for you to share. For the remainder of the session, consider these questions. If your pack conducts an annual program planning conference, what part of the conference do you feel your pack does well? What part of the conference do you think your pack could improve on? If your pack conducts an annual program planning conference, why do you think it is an important part of how your pack operates? Have you taken the training module, Annual Program Planning for Cub Scouting? If so, is there something in that module that you learned and that you use in your pack? What do you do for your annual program planning conference? If you don't conduct an annual program planning conference, what are the barriers to you doing one this summer? And is there someone at Roundtable who would be willing to help you? Now, annual program planning conferences can be a great fun way to build community for your pack and to get ready for the next program year. So have fun doing it, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
All right, thank you, Anthony. You know, every month I introduce Anthony, our old friend, as National Director of Cub Scouting. Anthony actually stepped down a couple of months ago as National Director, but he's still on these videos, so until then we'll keep introducing him as the National Director until whoever the new director for Cub Scouting is begins to make some videos for us. All right, well, the warm weather that we've had this week has gotten us thinking about the summer, and we want to make sure that you and your families know about a great adventure program back for another year, the Cub Summer Hikes. This free program, part of the adventure fee, gets Cubs and their families out to Camp Manatoc this summer during Scouts BSA Summer Camp to take part in a fun hike, and it gives everyone a chance to see summer camp in action. A little preview for the Cubs of what it'll be like when they join Scouts BSA in a couple of years. We got the slide up on screen there with all of the details. It's going to be on Wednesdays during Scouts BSA Summer Camp at Camp Manatoc. The dates are June 24th and then July 1st, 8th, 15th, and 22nd, and they all run from 7:30 to 9 p.m. You're going to meet at the pavilion next to the trading post. While you're waiting, you can go in the trading post and get a slushie because everybody loves the trading post slushies. Now, the hikes are age-based, so the younger Scouts, the Tigers and the Wolves, their hike might only be, say, a half mile long, but the Webelos and Arrow of Lights, your hike might be 1.5 miles to 2 miles. So it's going to be age-based. Again, it's free, part of the adventure fee, and you will need to bring medical forms parts A and B with you for all participants. So this includes families too. Make sure that you've got parts A and B with you just in case something happens. We're going to need those forms from you. It's a lot of fun. It's free. There is a sign up. You can see the sign up registration down there now. Even though it's free, we still want to let everybody know how many are coming so that they can plan accordingly with the number of staff members for the hikes. Remember too that participating in this hike counts towards the Cub Summertime Fun Adventure Belt Loop. So everybody can earn that. And this is one of those activities that counts towards that belt loop. Time now for our second hot topic. And we have training for packs on getting their parents involved. We know As commissioners, we know with evidence to back it up that units that have strong parental involvement are much more successful and have higher retention and recruiting rates than units that don't. Anthony Berger is back with this video presentation.
Hi, I'm Anthony Berger, National Director of Cub Scouting, and welcome to this BSA Roundtable topic, Getting Parents Involved. Now, most parents are willing to help out with the pack and will say yes if asked. So, if that's the case, why don't we have more parents volunteering? We've discovered that most packs lack a plan for getting parents involved. So we're going to cover a plan. Not the only way to do it, but a great plan that has been very successful for packs across the country. Before we talk about that plan, let's cover some things to avoid. First, most parents won't volunteer on their own, probably because they don't know the language of scouting. They don't know the program or the tools. It's like asking someone to bake a cake from scratch who's never been in the kitchen before. Also, expecting everyone to be a leader is not realistic. Of course, all parents need to be involved in some capacity, so take a look at each individual parent. Understand their skill sets and personality, and give them smaller tasks to contribute. You want a welcoming atmosphere, which means you should have a new member coordinator, someone whose only job is to welcome new parents, welcome members to meetings, getting to know people's names, and making introductions. To learn more about the position of new member coordinator, go to scouting.org. Focus on the tasks that need to get done instead of titles. A great resource for this technique, especially when you're recruiting new leaders, is the Selecting Cub Scout Leadership found on scouting.org. So, here's a plan, and it is centered around having a parent orientation. The parent orientation is ideally a standalone meeting held 7 to 10 days after your official recruitment event. Notice of this event, including the date, time, and location, should be communicated to all parents at your official recruitment event. By planning ahead, you'll help parents avoid any distractions. The key is to clearly lay out what Cub Scouting is and what's ahead. Prior to your parent orientation meeting, meet with your pack leaders and formulate a list of all the tasks your pack needs help with, including any potential vacancy leadership positions coming up, such as den leaders, assistant den leaders, cub masters, and assistant cub masters. Now make sure you have a mix of tasks, like an easy task, perhaps going to the scout shop to buy advancements for pack meetings, all the way to being a den leader or cub master. Make sure each of those tasks include a timeline and a level of commitment. Now obviously the task of a monthly visit to pick up the advancements at the scout shop is less than agreeing to be a den leader, which requires training, planning, weekly meetings, pack and committee meetings, and the like. When working with your leaders and formulating the tasks and leadership positions, avoid using scouting jargon when you're explaining them. New parents may not know yet what a den or a pack is, so use words that describe the jargon. So, for example, instead of saying a den, say your grade level or your grade group. With your list of tasks outlined, create a sticky note for each task or position. For example, you know that a Pinewood Derby race should have, let's say, 3 people to carry out the event. Someone who's in charge of the event, someone who does the weigh-in, and then someone who does the recording of the race. Make sure you have a sticky note for each of those positions. Here are 2 examples of sticky notes. As you can see, each has the position, the associated task in plain language, and the time commitment it takes to do it. Now that you're organized, it's time to have that parent orientation meeting. Even though you told parents 7 to 10 days ago of this meeting, it's best to remind them. And that means personally contacting each parent to confirm their attendance. We recommend that instead of an email blast, send a personal text message. They tend to respond right away. Here's an example agenda to help you conduct your parent orientation meeting. For a full agenda and details on how to conduct a parent orientation, we've developed an online position-specific training module for all Cub Scout leadership positions. Go to my.scouting.org and take the course entitled Involving Adults in Cub Scouting. Obtain a portable board, then prior to the start of your meeting, organize your sticky notes on that board. After moving past the first few agenda items in the meeting, you're ready to discuss parent participation. At the appropriate time, ask parents to come up to the board and have them pick 2 or 4 tasks that they feel comfortable carrying out. Now, keep in mind the number of tasks assigned to each parent will depend upon the size of your pack. So, for example, if you have a small Cub Scout pack with only 20 families, you may need parents to take on more tasks. Where larger packs with, say, 100 or more families will ask parents to take only 1 or 2 tasks, because those tasks that they're taking on are going to be somewhat larger. Like, for example, how many advancements they have to pick up once a month for a small pack is much different than for a larger pack. Now, make sure you record what task each person took, which is vitally important to our next step, which is to follow up. Without this step, everything else will fall apart. This may even be another sticky note, following up with each adult to review their task and provide opportunities for questions. Make sure this is a personal conversation with each parent, either personally in person or by phone or even a text message. And depending on the position or task, there may be varying degrees of time commitment. And for those increased commitments, such as den leader, make sure you provide them the resources they'll need to be successful. Remember, we want to emphasize tasks over positions. So if you find you have some leftover sticky notes, that's okay. Over time, bring these sticky notes to future meetings with parents and committee members as a visual reminder that these tasks are not getting done. Hopefully a parent will take 1 or more of these tasks. You may also find that a parent cannot, for one reason or another, carry out the tasks they previously committed to. In this case, simply rewrite that sticky note and place it back on the board. Since that follow-up phone call after the parent orientation is so important to the success of the pack, let's take a quick moment to review some of the resources that will be helpful to your parents. First and foremost is a 3-minute video entitled The 5 Most Frequently Asked Questions About Cub Scouting. You can find this video on scouting.org and on YouTube. Also on scouting.org is a downloadable PDF brochure entitled Selecting Cub Scout Leadership. This is a great resource that will further help you identify the right leadership characteristics and the right person for positions like den leader, pack committee chair, or even Cub master. The link to download this PDF brochure is on your screen. And each rank has its own resource page for that den leader, including overview videos, links to free resources, and onboarding materials. Everything a den leader needs to get started and onboarded properly is all there on one page. Also be sure to incorporate an overview of Scoutbook and the Scouting app in your orientation with your parents. Direct them to scoutbook.com to learn about that application tool and how to download the Scouting app onto their smartphone or device. Scoutbook and the Scouting app includes everything a parent needs to know to stay connected with their child through their Scouting experience, such as calendar events, rank advancement, and everything else. Now, in closing, keep in mind that ongoing communication with your leaders and parents is vitally important. Now, also keep in mind that not every person who takes a task is going to be able to do it, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And also that they may also do it in a way that you don't prefer or the way that you would have done it. And that's okay. And they just may not be successful at the task that they picked. The key is to focus on the tasks that need to get done. So at time to time, it may be important to reassign those tasks that aren't getting done. It's all part of delegating and managing to be successful. Always remember to praise in public, but coach in private. Look for opportunities to enhance their experiences and guide them to the proper resources. So thank you for watching, and thank you for all that you do for Scouting. It's amazing what we're able to do when we're working together. We have an inclusive mindset of bringing new families and parents into our fold because more and more people are saying, "Scout me in."
All right, thank you, Anthony. Let's now take a look at some upcoming events that we have in Great Trail Council. Lots of stuff going on. First thing we want to mention, it's not on the slide, but we do want to mention coming up in a couple of weeks is the bingo fundraiser, the purse bingo fundraiser. They're going to be giving away some very nice designer purses. Prada, and I obviously don't carry a purse, so I don't know all the names, but lots of expensive name brand purses will be involved in this. Registration is going to close 1 week from today, so on the 12th of March, the registration will close. So if you haven't signed up for that event yet, you can go to gtcscouting.org and you can go and sign up for that event on there. All right, let's take a look now at the upcoming events going on in the rest of our council. Kind of ironic that we're doing this now, but we had a couple of Cub Scout Freeze-Outs that were postponed from earlier in the year when it was really darn cold, and now it's warm out, but we're still going to do the Cub Scout Freeze-Outs. We've got 3 sessions coming up this Saturday, March 7th. The first one is from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. at Camp Manatoc, and then there are 2 sessions to choose from at Camp Stambaugh, 8:30 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. and 1 to 4:15 p.m. This is a free event. It is included in the adventure fee. You can attend any of those events that either you individually or your pack or den wants to attend. So if you haven't done one of the ones previously, you still got some opportunities to do them. It'll still be a lot of fun, even if there isn't going to be any sledding on a dirt hill anywhere. All right, we have the District Pinewood Derbies coming up. You can attend any of these Pinewood Derbies, so pick the one that is best suited for you from a date standpoint. The first one coming up is going to be a week from Saturday on March 14th. It's going to be hosted by Crooked River District, and it is going to be at the Kent United Church of Christ. 1 week later, Stambaugh District on March 21st is going to be holding a Pinewood Derby at Eastwood Mall out in Niles. Soaring Eagle District will be hosting theirs on April 18th at Summit Mall. It'll be out in the main area in front of one of the anchor stores. And Canal District is hosting a Pinewood on May 2nd at St. Paul Catholic Church in Akron. Now, one thing to remember with these Pinewood Derbies is these are now open to all Cub Scouts of all levels. It is no longer a qualifier event. You don't need to have previously been in the top 3 or whatever in your pack in order to participate in these district level Pinewoods. Anybody can join them. Doesn't matter. Throw the graphite on your wheels. Go out and have a great time at the Pinewood. On April 3rd is the annual Good Friday Fish Fry that will be held out at Camp Manatoc at the dining hall from 3 to 6 p.m. There is both dine-in and takeout options available for that, and you can sign up on that just so they have a head count of how many meals they're going to have to plan for here. That is on April 3rd, on Good Friday, from 3 to 6 p.m. And I'm getting a hand raised over. Sherry's getting her mic ready. You have a question, Sherry.
Yes, Benny. Someone is asking, do we still have saddlebags at the Scout Center?
Yes, we do. We still have saddlebags at the Scout Center. I know this because I was just in the saddlebags for my district, Soaring Eagle, earlier tonight. So yes, the saddlebags are still here. You can come to the front entrance, not the Scout Shop entrance, but the office entrance, and they are in an area that's accessible right next to the reception desk so that you don't have to get buzzed into the main office area. So yes, the saddlebags are still up here. We good, Sherry? Any other questions? That's it right now. Okay, let's go back to the events. Range and target activities for Cub Scouts. This is another free adventure fee activity. These are weekends starting April 25th, and there's typically going to be one a month between April 25th and October 10th. They're going to be held at both Camps Butler and Stambaugh. So regardless of what side of the council you are on, you can attend either one. You sign up for free on the website at the address you see at the bottom of the screen there. You will be rotated through 3 different stations. You have BB guns, archery, and slingshots, also known as wrist rockets. It's a lot of fun. Safety, of course, is the #1 priority, so there'll be a safety demo beforehand, but the Cubs that attend those always have a great time attending those. And finally, for those of you that are in Canal District, you have a fishing derby coming up on June 13th from 9 a.m. to noon, and that is at Little Turtle Pond in Akron. That is in the Firestone Metro Park, very close to Firestone Country Club over in Akron. So if you're in Canal District, you can either bring your own fishing gear, or they will have fishing gear and bait that you'll be able to use for free. That's, I believe, provided by the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. I believe that's who's doing those donations. To register online, you can see there, go to gtcscouting.org/calendar-events to see those and all of the events that are happening within Great Trail Council. Now, in addition to the Cub Summer Hikes, we want to make sure that parents and families all know about the upcoming Cub Summer Camp events. Now, these events also count towards the Cub Summertime Fun Adventure that Scouts can earn by participating in at least 3 scouting activities between May through August. Easy peasy to earn. Do 3 things over the summer and you got a belt loop. We also know that packs and scouts who stay active in scouting during the summer are far more likely to retain their members, and packs will be stronger as a result of it. Invention Convention is the theme for this year's Cub Day Camp, and you have 5 sessions to choose from. The first is June 19th to the 21st at Camp Stambaugh. The rest are at Camp Butler. Those are June 22nd through the 26th, June 24th through the 26th, June 29th to July 1st, and July 9th to the 11th. And those are open to all Cub Scouts of all levels from Tiger through Arrow of Light. It's whatever rank you will be in the fall. So remember, Lion Scouts don't join Cubs until the first day of school, so they don't do day camp or overnight camp, at least as Scouts. Overnight camp this year, there are 2 sessions for that out at Camp Manatoc, June 17th to the 20th, and July 30th to August 2nd. This is also open to all Cub Scouts. This is new for 2026. We're opening it up to Tigers this year. So Tigers through Arrow of Light, you can attend overnight camp. You'll stay at Camp Manatoc. You'll stay in the same tents that the Scouts of BSA Scouts do when they're out for their summer camp, and you'll do a lot of the activities that some of the older Scouts do. The difference between overnight camp and day camp as far as registration goes is for overnight camp, packs register and pay as a unit. At day camp, you can register individually. So for day camp, if there's a date that, let's say your pack has said, we're going to go, I don't know, June 22nd to the 26th, but you're doing something and you can't make that date, you can pick any of the other dates. It's totally wide open as far as that goes. You don't have to go to the one that your district might be hosting. They're all open for everybody. The important thing is we want to make sure that all Cub Scouts have the opportunity to attend day camp and or overnight camp. And you can see the registration will be opening next month in April. And you can get to that registration at manatoc.org/summer. All right, up next, we want to share the calendar of upcoming training to make sure that you have them on your unit calendar to save the date. Remember, every Scout deserves a trained leader. First up is this Saturday, we have Den Chief training. So if any of you have Den Chiefs in your packs and dens, or if you have Scouts that are thinking of becoming Den Chiefs, training will be offered this coming Saturday, March 7th. It is from 8:30 to noon. It is at Camp Manatoc. I believe it is going to be in the Lewis Conference Center. I don't think they've officially announced that yet, but I believe that's where it's going to be. It is free. And if you happen to miss that date, if your Scouts, BSA Scouts, are going to be out at Manatoc Summer Camp this year, they are going to be offering it during summer camp. There'll be one evening where they will offer the Den Chief training out there. So if you want your Scouts to get that Den Chief Service Award, they need to have taken Den Chief training. That's very important. Up next is Cub Scout Rangemaster training. We talked a minute ago about the range and target activity events for Cub Scouts. we need range masters to help run those events. The next training for that is going to be March 28th and May 30th. You can attend either one from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and is going to be offered simultaneously at both camps Manatoc and Stambaugh. Again, this is also free. Okay, I'm getting a hand wave. We have a question from Sherry.
Yes, we do, Vinny. Do they have to be council events for the Summertime Pack Award?
No, they do not. No. So for the Cub Summertime Fun Adventure, it has to be any scouting activity. So if your pack wants to get together, we had last year, if you go back and look at some of our old videos, we had people from a pack on last year that they just decided they're going to get together every week or every other week and just do something. Not even scouting related. It doesn't have to be scouting related. They would get together. They said one night, let's all go for ice cream. Or let's go play a game of kickball in the park. Or let's go over to somebody's house and sit in their garage or in their backyard and play board games or something like that. As long as it's with other scouts, that's all that counts. It does not have to be a council or district activity in order to count for that. Okay? And I have another question, all right?
Yes. What is the early bird cutoff for day camp and overnight camp?
That is a good question that I do not have the answer to. We'll try and get that for you here. I can see Steve is frantically going to check on his phone, so hopefully we'll have that answer before the end of the broadcast. I do know there is an early bird date for that. I just don't know what that is off the top of my head. Shame on me for not being prepared for that question, because it's usually something that I am prepared for. Okay, any other questions, Sherry, before we go on? Not at this time. Okay. Well, while we're looking up that, we want to let you know about Wood Badge training. That is coming up April 17th to the 19th at Camp Manatoc and May 16th and 17th at Camp Butler. You have to attend both sessions for this. If you go back and look at our January Roundtable broadcast, we had Lisa Testa on to talk about Wood Badge. She's the course director for that course, and she can explain everything that you need to know about it. This is one of the top levels of training for scout leaders of all program levels, whether it's Cubs, Scouts BSA, or beyond. The cost to attend that is $330 per person, and we do want to let you know that financial assistance is available for Wood Badge. It is also available, we didn't mention it before, there is financial assistance available in the form of camperships for both day camp and overnight camp. So if you have any families that may be in need of that financial assistance, have them talk to their unit leader, their Cub Master, because it is the unit that fills out those campership applications and submits them. All right, the last thing as far as training goes is Baloo training. Basic Adult Leader Outdoor Orientation, Baloo training. That is coming up on May 25th and 6th at Camp Manatoc. That is an overnight event. It is free to attend. And then the next session, if you happen to not make that one or don't want to make the trek out to Manatoc, it will be offered October 10th and 11th at Camp Stambaugh. And this training is basically to teach Cub Scout leaders how to put on an overnight camp out. It is required that at least one person from your pack, at least one person, it's preferable to have more than one person, must be Baloo trained and present the entire time of your camp out. If you only have one person and that person has to leave in the middle of the event, you have to cancel the event. Those are the rules that have been set forth for that. You can see there at the bottom of the screen to register for that. It is at gtcscouting.org/calendar events. We also have a slide that we want to share with everyone regarding an update to our council's training requirements. And the update is this. So we have actually had in our council for a couple of years now a requirement that our unit leaders, committee chairs, and direct contact leaders, so at the Cub Scout level, that means assistant Cub Masters and den leaders. We've had a requirement for a few years now that has said all of those people need to be position trained for the position that they are registered in. We haven't, though, been able to enforce that. We now have figured all of that out, and that enforcement will begin at the end of this year. So as you can see with the slide on the screen, all unit leaders, in the case of Cub Packs, that's the Cub Master, that's the Scout Master at the troop level, all unit leaders and committee chairs must be fully trained by unit renewal time on or before December 11th of 2026. If those two are not fully trained, that will hold up your unit's renewal. So it's important to remember that that takes place. It's also a requirement for the Cub Master, because they're a direct contact leader. As part of that, it's more than just taking the position-specific training, it's also taking hazardous weather training. So make sure that those are done. Once you've taken the position-specific training, it's good for the remainder of your career in scouting. The hazardous weather training expires every 2 years. And then, for 2027, all direct contact leaders must be fully trained by unit renewal on or before December 10th of 2027. And this was announced last month at our roundtable. So if you go back and look at last month's roundtable broadcast, we had Jericho Johnson on, who is the council training chair, who went into some further detail explaining everything about this training requirement. So again, who is a direct contact leader? Well, that is at the Cub Scout level, that is Cub Master, Assistant Cub Master, Den Leader, and Assistant Den Leader. So all of those people will need to be fully trained by the end of 2027. Okay, and Sherry, you've got an update on the, or a question?
Okay, going back to the early bird cutoff.
Yes, okay.
Each day camp has that info listed in the leader guide.
Okay.
Which is on the event registration page.
Okay.
Because there's different dates.
Oh, yes.
So if you go in, find the date you're looking for.
Okay. Was your mic on when you said all of that? Okay, I didn't think so. All right, so the answer to the question about the early bird date, it depends on the session that you are selecting. If you go to the leader guide on the registration page, it lists the early bird cutoff date for each of those sessions. So it's different because they all start at different dates. It's not like Scouts BSA Summer Camp where the early bird date is the same for everybody. For the Cub Scouts, it depends on when your session is. But if you go to the registration page, as if you were going to actually make a reservation, you'll see the leader guide on there, and it explains in there what those cutoff dates are for the early bird, as well as the prices, because the prices vary depending on whether it's a 2, 3, or 5 day event. All right. Any other questions, Sherry, relating to anything
Yes.
covered? Oh, okay.
Where can leaders get the financial aid for camp, the forms for camp? I believe you can get those on that same page.
Yes, you can. It's on manatoc.org, and there is on the registration page there is a link to it's a fillable PDF where you can go and download the form, or you can download it to your computer. Then you can fill it out, print it out, and get email. You will have to have a conversation with the family, obviously, because there's some questions that obviously only they can answer. But the filling out and the submission of the form is done by the unit. And I'm pretty sure, because I know it is for the troops, I believe for the packs, the cutoff date for those is April 1st. So you need to have any campership forms submitted by April 1st. This is to give the committee that handles all of that enough time to process all the forms and make sure that the monies get distributed in enough time. Okay? Any other questions, or are we good? We are good. Okay. Well, that is going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank everyone who helped behind the scenes. I want to thank you for all of your questions. We love when you have questions like this. It is very helpful. And thank you for watching. Our next Scouts BSA Roundtable will be on Thursday, April 2nd, and our next Cub Scouts Roundtable will be on Thursday, May 7th, all right here, beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube Live. Now, to close out tonight, we have a video from the National Council promoting all of the cool things that you can do in Cub Scouts. Feel free to use this video and others in your unit's promotional materials and at open houses, on your unit's social media. your website, whatever you have to show prospective families just some of the fun activities that they can do in scouting. Thank you for all you do for scouting. We'll see you on the trail. Good night, everyone.